Who's up for making some pasta without a stove? We just have our electric hot pot. How cool is that? Welcome back to another Jeff Reviews for you. And as you saw, we are looking at a plug-in electric hot pot that I saw on Instagram. I thought it was pretty sweet. You know what? Enough talking about this product. Let's get right into the review. Here's our electric hot pot that I purchased for right around $40. It's pretty generic packaging, so let's open this up and see what we have. Here's our electric hot pot unboxed. You can see that we have a lid, a power source directions, and the hot pot itself. This did come in two different colors, at least where I bought it. It was this color green, and there's also a pink. If we look at the hot pot itself, an exterior measurement is 5 inches from top down here to the base. Across from one side to the other is 7 inches, but you should know that from the top of this down is only about 3 inches because your heating element takes up about 2 inches down here. This hot pot has a 1.5 liter capacity, which is just around 50 ounces. It also has two modes. You have a low mode, which functions at 250 watts, and a high mode, which functions at 600 watts. I did want to say that there is a max line and a min line. They're pretty hard to see, but you notice they're right across from the handle, and they're just embossed in the pan itself. The directions, of course, tell you to hand wash this unit, and they actually tell you to be very, very careful not to get any of the electrical components wet, and definitely do not submerge this in water. I will say the placement of the plug port here was kind of frustrating because I noticed that when I was hand washing it, water got in there, so you need to be really, really careful. They also recommend not washing the outside of this with soap and water, maybe just spot wipe if it gets dirty. I was a little nervous by this plug because I noticed when I have it plugged in, it's really, really wobbly and wiggly, and that kind of worries me that this is going to break down over time or be a point where this thing won't work anymore. I just went and cleaned this electric hot pot, and of course I did a water test or water level test, and the 50 ounces came right to this lip here where your lid would go on. And in my opinion, that's just too much water. It will absolutely spill over when you start heating the water. What we're gonna do is we're gonna see how long it takes to boil water. I'm gonna put 32 ounces in. We're gonna put it on high and just see how long it takes till we get a rolling boil. I didn't say this earlier, but our electrical cord is only 30 inches long, so you have to be really, really close to the outlet in order to use this. Let's turn this 2 dials over to high. I will say you know that the pot is on because this little tiny light that's underneath the handle there, even though I'm turned over to the dial, the light is right there by the 1, but that little red dot lets you know that this is on and working. Now we're just going to wait to see how long this turns into a boil. I did not add any salt. I also don't have a hot pad underneath here. I do have this wooden trivet there. I don't know if this is going to put off heat. We soon will see. I'm going to come back when this is starting a rolling boil. We are looking to see some action inside this pot. It's getting definitely a lot hotter than it was at the beginning. Right now you're looking at about 138 degrees Fahrenheit inside, but check this out. The pot itself on the outside is right around 90, 91 degrees Fahrenheit, which I'm actually grateful that it's not really that hot on the outside. I do feel a little bit of warmth, but nothing that I think I need a hot pad just yet. I do think we have a good boil going on here, and it's just about 9 minutes and 20 seconds or so it took to get to this point. What I'm gonna do is I am actually gonna add some salt to this water because I'm gonna cook some noodles. We added 6 ounces of pasta in here with some salt. What we're gonna do is we're gonna let this boil now for the next 9 or so minutes. Our time is coming to an end. I will say the outside of the pot is getting a little warmer than it was before. Right now I'm about 130 or so degrees Fahrenheit. Warm to the touch. It doesn't burn me, but definitely something I noticed different. All right, so let's dump out our water and check out these noodles. For safety, we're gonna turn this off and then unplug the unit. I don't have a sink in here, but I do have this bowl and a colander, so let's dump this out and check out our nicely cooked noodles. Would you look at that? Cooked perfectly in under 20 minutes. So tell me, what are your thoughts of this electric hot pot? Something you would use? Not so much? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. We already saw this thing does a good job of boiling water, so you can cook soup. We also cook noodles, but the Amazon listing says you can also cook steak. Seriously? Let's turn this up to the second dial, let this thing warm up, and we're gonna throw some steaks on. So in just a matter of seconds, we saw this thing's gone to 346 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm gonna throw some butter on here and put our steak on. That bubble's sizzling, time for this steak. Of course, for this cook, I'm gonna use the lid just to control the splatter. It's been cooking for 3 minutes, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and flip it over. Maybe. There it goes. Oh, look how dark it's gotten on that side already. This is cooking a little faster than I wanted it to, so we're gonna turn it down to the low setting to let it cook. I just did an internal temperature check and I was right around 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I want that to be about 145 before I take it off. All right, we've reached an internal temperature of about 145 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's pull this steak off and let it rest. I'm actually gonna prep the pot again to cook another steak. We've let this rest for a few minutes. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut into it just to see what it looks like. All right, here's a moment of truth. Look at that, we're just at the perfect medium. That looks delicious. I actually bought a 2-pack, so our second one is actually cooking right now in our electric hot pot. Wow, that was absolutely delicious and moist and flavorful. Actually, I was pretty impressed. I typically like a grill, but this wasn't so bad. I should have said my total cook time was right around 9 minutes. In this video, we are looking at an electric hot pot, no stove required. So what did I think of it? First things first, let's talk about that price. $40, in my opinion, wasn't that bad because you know what? I can cook without even having a stovetop. I like that it had 2 different levels, either the 250 watts or the 600 watts, so you can have some adjustment to your cooking. Whereas most of the time I use the 600 watt section, I was able to turn it down if I wanted things to continue cooking but not burn. In my opinion, this is pretty convenient. I think van lives, RV lives, I think camping, dorm room, or even small apartment, this thing could be key to helping you cook your next meal. It has a few safety features I also think are pretty convenient, and that's important to me as well. If this is something that interests you, I will leave a link down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by and I hope you have a great day. A couple of things I appreciate about this hot pot. One, the handle stays cool to the touch throughout the entire time. Even though when I was cooking the steak, I did feel the exterior of this get a lot hotter than it was when I was cooking the water, the handle has always been cool to the touch. The Amazon listing says that this hot pot has 2 different safety features. One is the overheating feature where it will shut off if the unit gets too hot. The second one is the boil dry feature, and that's when it's supposed to switch off if there's no water in the unit. I will say I tested the boil dry feature and I let a pot of water boil and it was out, and this thing still remained on with the base hot for over 20 minutes. And then I eventually just stopped the test. I thought, man, this is a long time, 20 minutes of this just at 400 plus degrees Fahrenheit. So in my opinion, that boil dry feature didn't work, at least for me. I really do appreciate that you stayed around for my entire review of this electric hot pot. But you know what was keeping me cool the entire time? My Grip Go right behind me. It's just a simple fan that I have hanging on the wall. Anyway, what I did is I reviewed that not that long ago. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna link that review right up here, and I would love it if you would click on this link. And when you do, by the magic of the internet, I'm gonna join you right here. So go ahead, click it. It's safe, I promise.